you?
I'm great. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I think this is the year of Luke. What do you think?
Well, that makes me feel fantastic. Thank you.
You
Happy to be
are
here.
on fire. You are on fire, my friend. Oh my God, so much to talk to you about. Let's start with shrinking because,
Great.
first of all, what a sensational season. But not just that, the, you're like the way that we see Sean and how he's progressed, or maybe not progressed so much in certain ways this season. What excited you most about digging into season two?
Well, I had heard from Bill and from Brett that they had certain plans for Sean, and I thought they were going to be plans of progress when I had initially heard it. And it turns out they were plans of progress, but it's progress that reflects reality. And a lot of times we get this two steps forward, one step back thing. It's just
Yeah.
when that one step back is so big, like how Sean's have been, there's
Mm-hmm.
something that feels like cosmic, catastrophic. And it kind of did play out that way. But I can tell you when I first heard about it, I didn't anticipate it be going in this direction. But when I read it, it became obvious. Of course, this guy needs to figure out how to operate within his own life. Of
Yeah.
course, he's become codependent on Jimmy. Of course, he's living with his therapist. Like there's an issue there. And it just made me
Yeah.
super excited to be a part of a show that was okay with showing the consequences of making a mistake.
100%. And, it was like I said, it's just like a roller coaster ride this season with you because, right when we think he gets the food truck, things seem to be working well. And then there's the issues with his dad. But there was so many explosive scenes that you had to really dig into, Luke. And, the one that I think that broke my heart the most was the scene where he chose to get beat up in the
Mm.
parking lot. Can you talk a little bit about that and where you need to go in your head more to prepare for something like that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what was fascinating to me reading about how the switch in terms of Jimmy's client played out in front of the audience, we assume that Grace is the mess up, but
Right.
it's revealed that she's not. Although she went too far, she's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Sean's going in the wrong direction, alienating himself from his friends and family. And it started to become clear to me that in season one, when he was having all these fights, when he wanted to beat these people up, he might not have actually been hoping for a dominant position. He
Mhm.
was looking for self-harm. He's just a big guy.
Right.
He's just been training in the military, so he's going to be able to come out on top. So it finally showed a, a progression that just kind of felt like nails on a chalkboard. You see him open his hand in that one shot, and then you witness he's finally figured out how to harm himself in a way that feels rewarding. You
Yeah,
know, he can punish himself for feeling so guilty that he has issues with his father.
for sure.
It's just an incredible kind of just route for me to sink my teeth into, and I'm grateful to be able to play this part.
Yeah, and to work with these people and like you say, like the scripts are just so well written. I mean, when you're coming off with these people who are writing it and creating it, I mean, no question about it. But there's a lot of responsibility, I think, that goes with your character with Sean because of the PTSD, because of who he's representing. And it's also what I do also love, love, love about this series is yes, there's a lot of comedy, no question about it. But as we said, there's a lot of serious stuff. Um, but it makes it okay. It gives people the okay for people who don't maybe want to go to therapy. It kind of gives them like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a go. Like, what do you think about something like that?
I agree. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
When when we have a sort of moment that's really reflecting actual therapy, Bill will pull us aside and let us know. So,
Mm,
prime example, like when we see with Sean doing that, moving through the cloud and I love pain, that's real therapy tools. So he's not writing this show to give people therapy. I think it's a demonstration to
yeah.
show people what it looks like when you commit to making that change. And I
Yeah.
think Sean, being the client who we see the most of throughout the show, he is the demonstration for people. And honestly, I think it's sort of a worst case scenario type thing, which is another tool that we see Sean use. Well,
Yeah.
it can't all be that bad. You imagine the worst case scenario, and when you realize that that's very unlikely, then you can commit to making that change. Sean is kind of serving that purpose for people watching.
For
well, it
sure.
can't really be that bad. There are some people where it's even worse,
Yeah.
but the likelihood that the viewer will be experiencing things like being a vet, suffering from PTSD, that's a small percent of the population. So for those people, Bill, Brett, Jason are going for accuracy. But for
Yes.
the rest of the people, it's a demonstration. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, yeah, you do it so well. And then this season you get to change their therapists. How lucky are you? You get to work with Jason Segel, of course, but then you get to sit across from Harrison Ford, like really one-on-one. What are the differences between the two guys? Because I've had the great opportunity to interview both of them. And Harrison, like, he's amazing. I mean, he just blows me away on this show, but he's so dry. You just never know with him, right?
Yeah, I think as an actor, working with Jason is sort of like he when he in comedy, he is the cream of the crop. So he's, I don't know who's great. LeBron James, Jeff Gordon, Sha'Carri Richardson, Simone Biles. Like he's one of those in his
Yeah.
lane. You got
Yeah.
me? But he has
100%. Yeah.
yeah, he has this unique skill to make you that on your coverage.
Amazing.
So he is so present and active on the other side of the camera when the camera's facing you. He'll do everything he can to alley-oop you that ball so you can slam dunk it in there. Working with Harrison, it's different in the fact that he is building something from the ground up. And it's Harrison Ford. I'm not the one with the blueprints. He is. But
Yeah.
what's dope is he's always sharing them. He's always, let's go here. And then we build it together. And then once it's built, we play in what we've built.
Amazing.
Neither is really like better for me. I just get to sit and soak in the greatness and excellence that is these two goats, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I can feel myself improving as an actor, which is not the point of being on a show. The point is
Sure.
for me to do my job. The
Yeah.
benefit is that I get to improve as an actor. And
Yeah.
man, it's got me wanting to get started on season 3 already.
Tell me about it. I want season 3 already. Like, yeah, get going, okay? But yeah, no, for sure, because like you say, you are soaking up from these people. I mean, there's a lot of veteran people, a lot of veterans on this show, as well as younger actors who are probably the same as you, soaking it in, and it's just amazing. But on the other side, I want to know how you get through some of the scenes without cracking up all the time too, because there's got to be so much laughter going on.
Truth is, I don't. Not all the time. And you know what? Sometimes the writers will come, and the writers are so involved, which I love. The writers will come up and give an alt to someone and not
Yeah.
tell you what it is.
Right.
And let me tell you, man, when I was sitting on that couch with another legend, Krista Miller, across
Oh
from
yeah.
legend, Harrison Ford, and he says, "What do you want me to do? Pull my pants down and make my ass clap?" That was not in the script.
Yeah.
One of our brilliant writers came through and dropped that in Harrison's ear, and he said, and then action, boom. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep it together. Was I successful? No. You can see me turn my head from the camera, but I'm doing my best. I'm trying.
Good for you.
I give myself maybe like an 85. Just about 15% of the time, I'm just like really, really struggling to keep it together. But I'll get there on that 15. It'll take me a bit, but I'll get there.
Hey, you are doing really well. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, let's move on to Nickel Boys. I saw this a few weeks ago, and I got to tell you something. I had to sit in the theater for maybe 10 minutes before I could get up and walk out when it was over. It is brilliant. Were you even aware of the Pulitzer Prize winning book before you booked this role?
No. And that's something that frustrates me. I'm from Florida.
Right. Yes, I was going to go there. Yeah.
The Academy is based on is in Florida. It closed down when I was in high school. I could have gone there. And I didn't know. And there's something about that breaks my heart. I find it very challenging to accept parts where I'm engaging in, let's call it rehashing Black trauma in America.
Yeah.
At some point, to me, it doesn't seem beneficial when we're retelling the same stories again and again. A lot of people might disagree. That's my perspective. The Nickel Boys and that novel that Colson Whitehead wrote, that is not rehashing. That is new information that a lot of our country does not know about. I had to do everything I could to book that part. And I'm just very grateful that I got to be in that movie in any capacity.
Oh, you were spectacular in it, honestly. And I had a chance to talk to your co-stars last week or so, and Ingenue and Ramel. And
oh, great.
honestly, I just, now I'm going to add you to my collection here because I just think this movie is so brilliant. But what I love, like I told Ramel, he's got to patent the way he shot this
It's
because
we never
people
seen
are
a
going to
movie like
copy
that.
him.
Right, exactly. But I
Yeah,
think that's good. Like he's a revolutionary. He's
yeah,
he's on the cutting edge. He's setting the tone. I think what he did was he gave us something to watch where we could not hide from the point of view of the character.
can you talk a little bit about getting your mind around, wrapping your mind around that? Ethan and Brandon said they just did it. They just, whatever. They're being way too humble, I think, because it can't be easy to get, to act like that or to
No,
get
it's
used to
not.
acting like that.
And then there's a weird sort of sacrifice that happens when you choose to shoot a movie like that. And the sacrifice is I am performing with, say, Brandon or with Ethan, who has the POV camera rig attached to them. And
Right.
the audience is being robbed of what I am being fed for my performance. And
Got
I'm
it.
like, I wish they could see this brilliant, beautiful work. But the truth is, on take 3 or 4, I'm lost now. I'm in it with them. And that's not something that happens for me frequently. I'm a very technical performer. People be like,
Yeah.
oh, I disappeared. Not me. I'm there. I know what's going on. I'm a performer. And there was something magical and mystical about the way that Ramel chose to shoot that, where that performance is just for me. It was just to feed me as Griff in that moment so
Right.
I could tell the truth of what the words on that page were to me.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm so proud to just be associated with in any regard. That's so cool you got to chop it up with them. They're
Oh
such
yeah.
performers, and
Honestly,
Ramel's
5 minutes
incredible.
was not sufficient, I have to tell you, because there's just so much to talk to them about, and especially with Ingenue, she every role she does, she just is extraordinary. She really is such a wonderful actress. But the way she played this grandmother, honestly, and what gets me about this story is, Ethan's character, Turner, I believe it was, right? Turner, I think
Ethan
yeah,
was good. Yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
I sorry, yes, and sorry, I've been doing a lot of interviews.
Also, there's a lot in that movie that's a little
Yes,
weird. We can't talk about
exactly,
it, but there's a lot in there that's weird. Yeah.
exactly. But the one thing you can say is, had he not made that one decision, like he had such promise, right? And he was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then look what happened. It's
Mhm.
just heartbreaking.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Again, bringing it back to my own personal experience, I could have been there because I was a good kid. I never got a referral, a detention, any of
Yeah,
that. I was
yeah.
Elwood. That's who I was growing up
Elwood,
in
yeah,
South Florida.
yeah,
Of course, it was in the late 90s and the early 2000s, but that school had been looming there for decades, ready to just eat up all of these young men and then to spit them out for them to go on and just continue being these broken human beings back in the community. And no one was tasked with the responsibility of trying to repair these humans.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
just a heartbreaking tale, but one that I'm so grateful has come to light. And again, I'm grateful to be a part in telling
yeah.
that story.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I can't say enough about it, and I can't wait until it's out there. Okay. Also, I just want to know, you're such an amazing young man. Who keeps you humble?
My wife,
Okay,
my
that's
wife
good.
keeps me very humble. She is a realist. She is from Mexico. There's a bit of blunt and abruptness that they have in their culture that's been invigorating to have in my life.
Hmm.
And also my daughter. I finally got to work on a comedy, and I feel so grateful to be a part of making people laugh.
Yeah.
And as my daughter has grown, man, the times when she lets me know that things aren't funny anymore, the face that she makes, oh goodness me, the
How old is
disappointment.
she?
She just turned 1.
Oh, that's so
And the
lovely.
sass, I am telling you, the eyebrows. You see the eyebrows I got with the weird little dimples in here? She got them in spades. So every time I make a joke and it falls flat,
Yeah. She lets you know.
that's not funny, Papa. I don't like it, Papa. Do something else. I'm not here for that anymore. I'm like, yo, you used to love it. Not anymore. Not funny. So humbled.
That's awesome. And just to wrap it up, I know that you did a short film with your best pal
Yeah.
Jade. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's really exciting too.
Thanks so much for asking about that. Yeah, one of my good friends, my brother Noam Shapiro, this guy is he's just this dude I met in college when
Yeah.
I was keen on being the hardest working person there. And then I got to know him and was proven wrong immediately. No one works harder than that guy.
Wow.
And we're so vastly different in our approach to our crafts. But when we create and when we write, it's like we have no choice but to continue creating together. I just found a kindred spirit in terms of how I want to create and write and produce and maybe even eventually direct. But Jade is just a movie about a man who needs a haircut and he goes to see his best friend and barber. And there's a lot more than a haircut that he gets from
I'm
that
sure.
friend and barber.
Yeah.
That's it. And those are the kind of stories we want to tell. It's and it's about a young man who's a father to a young girl, and
Yeah.
he's trying to be present in her life. He's fighting to have dual custody of that girl. And we wrote that before I had my daughter. And look what
Oh,
happened.
look what
So
happened.
life
You
imitates.
manifested it.
Yeah. So thanks so much for asking about that because I'm a
Oh, my
writer.
pleasure. Well, like I
Well,
said, you are really fantastic. And speaking of directing, I mean, maybe you could approach the shrinking team and get them to let you direct an episode next season.
and goodness me, I'd be terrified.
Oh,
We'll
you
see how
could
that
do it.
goes. You know
You could
what?
do it.
You know what? It's worth asking. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention because I hadn't
Yeah.
considered it. But
You
that's
don't
very
ask, you don't get, right? And
100% right.
I think they would take you very seriously. And I will vouch for you, my friend. I promise you.
Thank you. I'm hearing that. Appreciate it.
Listen, thank you so much for your time today on a Friday afternoon. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll get this out there and just congratulations on all of your success. I cannot wait to see where you go going into the future. You're fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It was so nice chatting with you. I
You
appreciate it.
too,
Really.
Luke. Take care. Have a great day. Okay. Bye bye.